Alright, so the strongest party pal damage build in Palworld, or the easiest build maybe you want to call this one, it is the Knocklem using the breeding exclusive attack Wind Edge together with Flame Funnel. And then we have Airblade Skill Fruit, which is good against pretty much everything. And then we're going to be using Demon God, Serenity, Legend, and Vampiric. Now Legend and Demon God together will give you just enough defense boost to survive most of the stuff. Together with Vampiric, which is just pretty important on Knocklem, because you don't want to be withdraw dodging, you want it to lifesteal to sustain itself against the more difficult fights in the game. Because when you withdraw dodge it, you lose out on the Steel Guardian mode. So Steel Guardian mode, when you activate it, it gives Knocklem a huge attack and defense bonus. So we can take a look at that bonus just at the start here. We shoot him with the Mega Boost gun as well. Use this partner skill. And then we can take a look at the stats here. 8,700 and almost 7,000 defense. This could be even higher if you do want to go for a more kind of meme build with like Diamond Body and Muscle Head and stuff like that. You can even go a pure attack build. But just having this sort of all-round build with a little bit of defense from Legend and a little bit of defense from Demon God together with that lifesteal just seems to be the overall strongest one. So to get Wind Edge on Knocklem specifically, you have two options. The one I went with is this Palumba with Necromus or Palladius, just to get that sort of Legend plus the Wind Edge on the Pal. Now if you don't have access to the Legends yet and you do want to start building a strong Knocklem already, you don't have to go for Legend. There are some options with using stuff like Menace Sting together with Warsick Terra that you can do a bit earlier in the game to get access to this. And then it's just a Flame Funnel and Airblade skill fruits. Now we're going to be using two Knocklems, we're going to see that in the video, together with three Turtical Terras. So the Turtical Terras give Knocklem a attack power boost, so it's an attack power to all ground pals, and we're going to be using just Meteor Rain on all of these, just to clear out some of the ads in the beginning of the fight against hard mode Bjorn. Not something that is required, just something that is fun to do for this more sort of min-maxed build really. Now you could have used something like Gobfins here instead with great results as well. You could have gone Vanguard on these three ground booster pals. There's Doomwood Guild. But what we're going to show in this video really is just doing the fight with 0 player damage to showcase just how strong Knocklem is. So some other skill fruit options you have to add to this pal is just the classics with Holy Burst, Beam Slicer, Blast Cannon. You got the new Hydro Slicer, new Dark Wisp, and Lightning Streak as well, just depending a little bit on what you're fighting. So this build we're using now is overall an extremely strong build. Airblade strong against everything. Wind Edge also strong against everything, because something like Holy Burst, while it shines in some very specific fights like Marcus and Phalaris, Victor and Shadowbeak against big targets, these skills are good against pretty much everything. You might want to switch for like Holy Burst and Hydro Slicer against Marcus and Phalaris, because it isn't a great build against fire pals, but it is good against pretty much everything else, which we are going to see now in the video as we go into the fight. So really, we're just going to be running the attack whistles. Since we are mixing skills, could have used like a fire whistle against Bjorn instead of like the basic attack whistle, but just this all-rounder here seems pretty fine. Then the Mega Boost gun on top of that, and we're just going to go in really and see how the fight plays out. So what I'm going to do here before I start the fight, since the Mega Boost gun lasts around 30 seconds, as long as there's no enemy here to steal the Meteor Rain, that can also happen, we're going to shoot each one of these Turtical Terras, if we can actually hit it, with the Mega Boost gun just before we enter the fight, to make it a little bit easier to do this swapping, and then the first Knocklem as well, because why not? So we're gonna go back to the first Turtical Terra and then enter the fight. Did I give the attack food? No, I did not. We might be a little bit too slow here. We'll see. It should be fine with these 30 seconds to get these Meteor Rains out at a decent rate just to clear these ads. The Fabric Warriors that he has. And since they are being swapped, you swap before that rocket hits. Not a big issue there. The Mega Boost gun seems to be fading a little bit, so we're a little bit late on that one. We can see if it's enough to clear the warriors anyway. And it seems to be pretty much fine. They're gonna burn out. You shoot them with the Mega Boost gun, hold the partner skill just after Flame Funnel, because there is some issues where you hold the partner skill too early and the Flame Funnel sort of gets interrupted by it. So just hold it after like a second after sending the pal out, and then it should be fine. And then you can see now, just watching Knocklem fight, drops a little bit low from different attacks, and then heals right back up again. And with this huge defense bonus that he has with the partner skill, as well as just a little bit from Legend and Demon God, every like health point it heals is worth a lot more than it is on other pals. So even now, tanking Diamond Rain, tanking Stonebeat, not a big issue for it. And as the Steel Guardian mode wears out, we're gonna be swapping to the second Knocklem. So that's why we're running 2 Knocklems. Now we have 50 seconds. We let him use the partner skill. We shoot him with a Mega Boost gun. And now he's up and fighting again. So the reason why we're using this sort of Wind Edge Flame Funnel combo is that at the start of the fight, the Meteor Rain should do a couple of burn instances on Björn, increasing his status resistance rate to fire specifically quite a bit. And then when you send out the Knocklems using Wind Edge, they do this Ivy Cling effect, the roots, which just double fire damage. So on its own, Wind Edge is the strongest attack in the game against these regular sized hitboxes for party pals. And then together with Flame Funnel, just doubling damage. Flame Funnel also extremely strong against this sort of hitbox. So together, they just seem to be this sort of perfect combo, really. Gonna switch Knocklem here as the partner skill fades out. Mega Boost Gun, hold the button. And then another interaction, which isn't touched upon too much, or I don't see it mentioned too much, is that all these partner skills where you hold F, like you got Libro, you got Cognito, Bushi, and even Knocklem here. When you have these sort of hold F partner skills to activate an attack or the Steel Guardian mode, it just takes aggro from the boss. It works like a taunt in other games. So when you're using this build, first, Knocklem is just doing a ton of damage and tanking on its own. And second, it will just take aggro when you hold the partner skill. So unless you, like that, get hit by some random area of effect, here's the roots as well. And now we're going to be seeing some double damage on the Flame Funnel until it overrides it with Burn, which hopefully shouldn't happen after the Meteoring. But yeah, really that's what happens with Knocklem, making it such a great tank that every time you use the partner skill, he starts taking aggro instead. So when you might get targeted here in the swap, we're going to show it a little bit here. And then when you hold the partner skill, Björn was targeting him a little bit there on his own anyway. But when you do hold that partner skill, Björn will just instantly target whatever pal it is. So that's sort of the downside for using something like Libro, in my opinion, is if you send out Libro here against Björn, you hold the partner skill for that nice Nightmare Bloom, she's just going to take damage and get frozen by some random Blizzard Spike or Diamond Rain, or like hit by a Nightmare Ball and fall over or something like that. So overall, Knocklem just has a lot of stuff going for it, and then this build just has a lot of synergy with the Wind Edge together with the Flame Funnel, just working perfectly together really. And the loop itself, it's decent. Maybe throwing Impatient here would have been worth it to avoid stuff like Bog Blast. That little Bog Blast there, then he walks around for 4 seconds, but it isn't terrible, because with the partner skill boosting all the like stats it has, Impatient loses out a little bit there. So probably not worth running Impatient at the cost of losing quite a lot of stats with the partner skill. Just because of the heal with Vampiric, like there's so much synergy here really. Boosting the attack heals more with Vampiric, boosting the defense means that every health point you do steal is worth quite a bit more. So you can see barely, that's a hard hitting Stone Beat for most pals. And it resists Stone Beats on top of that since it is a ground pal, worth pointing out as well. So if we compare this to some of the other builds that I've been doing against Björn, like the Godfin build I had recently and stuff like that, it seems to be pretty much double, a little bit more than double the DPS of those kinds of pals that are the weaker state of the game, like Godfin, even if it had that sort of synergy with Thunder Spear and Aqua Gun with 100 power. Knocklem is just super good with this build. So we're not going to be jumping into all the other tower bosses, mainly wanted to show this with the 0 player damage effect. And there's, like if you compare this, I did at the start of the video say that this was the best party pal build. There are a couple of builds that can do higher DPS, but at a much higher rate of either you need to invest more, like you would need to go get yourself the full legendary Terra Prismas, get legendary weapons and stuff like that, get legendary armor, rings of resistance to really perform at that level. Or you're doing some pretty high skill stealing stuff with swapping in rock bursts in melee range while rotating around the boss. Like the Fellbat build is super strong, the Vixen build is super strong, but they just revolve a lot around having like good weapons and good accessories and everything like that. While this sort of build, you're really just hiding behind these Knocklems that just self-heal, they take all the aggro, and they're more than strong enough to just tank through this hard mode Björn. So this is a fully maxed Knocklem. You got all the 10 trust and everything, We got the Tactical Terras doing their thing in the beginning with Meteor Rain, and you don't really need to invest this to this extent in the Knocklem. Like, having the stars is really good because it boosts the partner skill, but you could just skip like Trust and IVs and stuff like that if you don't want to invest to that extent, since you probably, unless you're doing some sort of 0-player challenge, like just having the Terra Prisma in there won't really affect you negatively at all, since Knocklem is just taking aggro with the partner skill. And then, as mentioned, like if you do want to fight Victor, you got that Holy Burst. If you do want to fight Saya, you got that Beam Slicer, Blast Cannon. Like, you can still use these skills very well. But this overall, you would probably never really have to change it. It will work against all the bosses. Maybe Marcus and Phalaris, you want to switch something out. Maybe against Lily as well, you would just, I don't know, like throw in Dark Wisp or something like that, and you will be good to go. So that's it for this Knocklem showcase. So by far, in my opinion, the best Party Pal build if you're just focusing on Party Pal damage, and an easy build as well. Felbat is up there on the easy build scale, but as mentioned, that's when you're like adding player damage and Gobfins and stuff like that. So yeah, I can really recommend going for these Tactical Terras with Meteor Rain as well for the start of the fight, but also not really something you have to do. Like, just sending out the Knocklems without Tactical Terras, spamming Meteor Rain at the start is fine, because the just random Flame Funnel hits will light those Fabric Warriors on fire. It can be a bit annoying with the one that has the homing missiles, knocking Knocklem a couple of times until it falls over. So it is fun. Like, I can recommend going for these, but you don't have to. But if you do want to go for this sort of best build route, then it's fun to add these. And just remove all the other skills, so you don't have to wait for it to use like a full duration of waiting for Stone Beat and waiting for something else before Meteor Rain. Just having one attack there is fine. So I'll put the Breeding Chain somewhere in this video as well to show where the Windage came from. And that's it for this video, so thanks for watching.